know that we can't. It's remarkable, terrifying even, that the former group, the one that has it wrong, has somehow wrested control of society's decision-making apparatus away from the latter. It's less remarkable that they've held on to it. If the people in charge think that measurement matters more than it should, then measurement will matter more than it should. We have handed too much control over our collective decisions to self-described experts who seek truth about vital matters of human importance in a place that it cannot be found: in the data. What do you get when you count something? A number, of course. What is contained in that number? Nothing but itself. Are numbers always right? Well, ask 3 people to count the number of logs in a woodpile. Person A: there are 200 logs in the pile. Person B: there are 198 logs in the pile. Person C: I don't have time to count them, so I will just average the first 2 guesses and call it 199. Is it possible that one of those numbers is right? Yes, it is. Is it possible that all of those numbers are right? Of course not. Is it possible that none of them is right? Absolutely, especially considering that the third person didn't even bother to look for the answer on their own and tried to get at it via mathematics, by averaging 2 data points, instead of seeking to experience it, that is, to count the logs directly. So, to summarize, a number may or may not contain truth. It depends. Not only that, we all know that the person doing the counting, of anything really, wields enormous power in setting the terms of a discussion and the apparent importance of that number, even though they may have no clear purchase on truth itself. Everyone wants to be right. So it's an understandable inclination to want to suggest that one's facts come carrying the weight of truth, even when the facts are wrong. We all do it, all the time. But here's the problem. Somewhere along the way we began to confuse and conflate purported facts and truth. And then, over time, we came to believe, on a very deep level, that numbers were no longer just pointing to facts, but pointing at truths. Not only that, we gave them seniority over words as well. Some people deal with actual people and actual things. Let's call them specialists. And then there are those who deal with the data that we generate to try to keep track of those things. Let's call them experts. In other words, specialists deal with reality, and experts deal with models of reality. Look, I know there are other kinds of experts, but if you open any newspaper in 2021, when they say expert, they are really talking about analysts. Analysts count things. Think about that for a second. In 2021, you get to call yourself an expert if you spend your time counting things. 3-year-olds know how to count, but it takes someone who knows how to use their words to help a 3-year-old understand what they are counting. The counters want to measure and rank everything. Are more people dying here or in Europe? What is the cost of all this death? Which is the most expensive virus in history? What does that poll say about that number? I'm not just talking about COVID either. I'm talking about everything. The reason that we can't stop counting is that counting is easier than understanding. But truth hides in the essence of a thing. If all we want to know is how many of something there are, then counting usually does the trick, provided that we can first agree on what we're counting and then come to some agreement about the count itself. But when the question isn't how many, but why, it doesn't matter how often you update your totals. They won't be able to answer your question. The only thing that numbers contain is themselves. There is nothing else there. And still, we keep trying to measure and count our way to answers about things that cannot be quantified. What is the worth of a human being? The experts tell